Greetings everyone, this is Danny from HarTravel.com, and we just landed in Disney's beautiful and magical Castaway Cay. This was the private island experience that completely changed the industry, and so we'd love to show you a tour of the island. Follow me. All right, so right when you get off your Disney cruise ship, when you're at Castaway Cay, the very first building that you're going to come in contact with is the post office. And what's unique about this is actually a Bahamian post office. You have to use Bahamian stamps. Of course, they have that all inside. They're currently closed for lunch, and they are always on Bahamian time. So you might want to check once or twice when you're getting off the ship or getting back on the ship if you want to mail something. But this is that perfect place to mail a really cool, unique memento home or postcards or whatever it is that you need, and have the stamps from the Bahamas. So we're going to continue on here to the entrance. This is where you're going to go through security on and off because you are in a foreign country. And immediately what I noticed is two things. One, you have all the little touches that show that it's Disney. So you've got the props and all of those kind of things. And then the second thing is a massive hurricane just came through here a couple days ago. So I'm completely impressed that they have everything back up and running, but you can see, you know, the foliage kind of knocked down and things along those lines. But luckily for them, the hurricane kind of went elsewhere and then it sat for quite a while. So there was damage, but not the extensive damage you're going to find in the rest of the Bahamas. So now we're going to head out through security and onto the island itself. All right, so as you continue on down the dock, you're going to find Marge's Barges. So what this is the spot for is all of the excursions that are going to be leaving for the most part. So all you do is they'll tell you on board exactly when and where to meet, and then you're going to come off the ship together, and this is where you'll be. So you can see a lot of the boats are out and a lot of the other watercraft, but this is the spot for all of your Castaway Cay excursions. So as you proceed past Marge's Barges, you're going to find a couple things. So you've got your towel return right here. One really important thing to note is you don't need to take your towels with you. They have them on shore. And then the next stop is the tram stop, and they're actually holding one for us. So we're going to head right now. You can go to Scuttle's Cove, Castaway Beach, and they go about every 5-10 minutes or so. So here we go. We're going to head on the tram. See you later, Disney Dream. All right, so we just got off the tram, and the first thing I wanted to point out is the check-in for the Cabanas. So the Cabanas, I think, are a really great value depending on what you want to do for the day. But this is where you're going to check in, and then they're going to put you in a golf cart and take you directly to the Cabana. You don't need to bring towels. Once again, they'll have them here, and then they also have them in the Cabana. So if you follow me along, we'll kind of get into basically the heart and soul of Castaway Cay and the main area. Oh my gosh, you see that? I found Nemo. Amazing. Nemo. It's a little tricky guy. Look, he even has a small fin on the side. But anyway, this is the start of Disney Retail, as you would imagine. Once again, it's something that Disney excels at. So go. Got the Not Fast store, and then my daughter is super into Frozen right now. She's 3.5, so as you can imagine. And there is Wandering Oakens. In fact, there's my good buddy Olaf over there. So if you need to visit a sauna in the middle of winter, summer, or whatever it is here right now, this is your place. They also have some really good, fresh, refreshing drinks. So, hey Olaf, how's it going, buddy? Oh, I guess it's a sandman, not a snowman, but who knows? Anyway, see you in a few. I guess that summer thing's not working out great for you. All right, anyway. As we continue on into the island, wanted to point out the start of the 5K race. So if you go to Castaway Cay on any of the Disney cruises, they always have a 5K, kind of starts here, goes out into the middle of the jungle, and then comes back in. But it's just a really unique experience to do on a tropical island. The next stop would be the bike rentals. Bikes are a great way to get around Castaway Cay, and in fact, they're included in the Cabana rental. So if you were going to rent them anyways and a few of those other things, sometimes it's just a little bit more for the Cabana than to pay for all the rentals separately. So just behind the bikes, and you can see there's a ton of them. They have all kid sizes and adult sizes. You've got a volleyball court and more of a sport court back there. Okay. And then if we turn just the other way and start looking out, you've got the start of the beach loungers and a beautiful, beautiful cove right here. All right, so as you continue on, you will find Spring a Leak, which is kind of like the kids' play pad area, similar to Dory's Reef on board the ship. Got the water squirting up. It's really best for the littlest kiddos. All right, so with the beach on the left of me, we're continuing on down actually towards the Cabanas. But on the way, you can start to see the roof emerge of Cookies 2, which is TOO. It's the barbecue joint on board, and they're going to have, on Castaway Cay, and they're going to have lunch every single day from about 11:30 to 2 o'clock, give or take. Here we go. Come on in here. You can see they've got it all set up picnic style, which is very similar to like what Royal Caribbean does on Castaway Cay, and some of the others do as well. All right, so as we continue on through Cookies 2, you're gonna notice a couple things. One, they've got soft serve ice cream, just like they do on the ship. Huge hit there. Then they also have the full drink station set up, just like they do on the ship. So sodas and things like that are complimentary as well. And in fact, I'm going to get one really, really quick because, well, it's hot outside. Here we go. All right, so now that we've been through the seating area of Cookies 2, you can see the food distribution area. So inside here, it's buffet style, just like you're gonna find in Cabanas on board the ship. You can see they've got chips and everything, and then here is all of the accoutrements you would expect for a barbecue. So Cajun chicken, barbecue pork ribs, hamburgers, hot dogs, veggie burgers, and then over here you got the salads, the coleslaw, potato salad, things like that. There's a really strong aroma because the barbecues are going just inside here. It smells amazing. And then now you've got the tropical fruits all cut and ready for you. And then on the other side, it's essentially the exact same thing, just like it would be on Cabana. So right when it opens, it gets really, really busy, but if you wait just a little bit, it starts to settle down as you move throughout the day. So here is one of the restrooms, of course, just a fun play on sons with a U instead of an O, and daughters. As we go right past it, you're gonna see the entrance to the Cabanas, which is for Cabana guests only. We actually are staying in a Cabana today, so we're gonna head on through and go find our friends that are in the Cabana with us. Right as we head on through, what we're gonna see is the Hill Party, which is our friends that we're actually with. So this is the Cabana that they have for the day. I'm just gonna take you on a brief walk up here. How's it going, Grandpa?
Hey, man.
So this is a great view of what a Cabana looks like with kiddos, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of stuff everywhere. You got the food in here, very relaxed. You've got the control over here that's going to control music and things. But basically, it's just set up for a family to enjoy. You see the towels underneath here, so you don't have to worry about it at all. And then, of course, all of the rentals that are included with the Cabana it makes it a really good value. And then as you walk on out, my favorite spot, of course, is the hammock, because that's where I'm gonna sleep for the next couple hours. So I'll see you guys later. Oh. Or I'll fall over, one or the other. You can finish the tour without me. We're good. And then the other thing that comes along with your Cabana rental is the private beach. So that's right here. You can see over there. I don't know if you can see really, really well, but it's pretty crowded because it's the family beach. But then here, there's absolutely nobody. And then as you walk out into the water, it's really your space to explore. Hey, there's our friends right out there. So you notice that we have Cabana 2. I would recommend 1, 2, maybe 3, just because you're right next to the food, right next to the restrooms and everything that you want to have quick access to when you're traveling with your family. All right, so as I head out of the Cabanas area, I just wanted to give you a little bit more information on the Cabanas because the initial, sticker shock can be frightening, but when you realize what it includes, it's not so much. So basically for 4 adults, you're looking at $3.99. For 6 adults, you're looking at $5.99. And for, party of 10, you're looking at $9.99 total, but it also includes several other things. So you get the private area, which we just showed you. You get bottled beverages. There's a fridge in the Cabana for you, fresh fruit. Of course, the concierge button is kind of everything. You press the button and they'll bring you what you need. You also get sunscreen, rental, all kinds of rentals are included. So the bike rentals, the snorkel rentals, those kind of things that you might pay for independently. And then also you get the taxi ride to the Cabana, which is nice. And then all the kids' toys that are there just for your kids, don't have to share them like you do on the bigger beach. So all of those things together, like just the rentals themselves, can be $60 to $80 per person. And so if you just think you're paying $20 more on top of that, it's a great value. But I'll let you decide for you and your family. But for me, it is the best way to spend a day at Castaway Cay. And then one final bit on the Cabanas is that they all sell out. They will sell out on every single trip. Okay, so you can sign up for them based on your status. So if you're gold member or silver, basically you want to sign up the moment it becomes open. And if you're not one of those, you really want to sign up the second that it becomes available for you. So now we're heading on to the family beach. So this is kind of, I guess you would call one of the main 2 beach areas of Castaway Cay. Of course, there are lifeguards on duty. We always recommend that you're paying close attention to your kiddos, but having that extra layer of safety is great. And then, of course, they also have life jackets for you to use for both adults and for children. So if you have any questions about your ability to swim, you definitely want to take the extra safety precaution and use those. So one unique thing about this Pelican Plunge area is that it's floating out in the middle of the water. So you have to swim out to it. There's a little area where you walk down into the water. So if your kiddos aren't great swimmers, you're going to want to put those life jackets or puddle jumpers on there. But they swim out there, get in line right up on the top, and then come down, and there's 2 water slides out there for them. Once again, you can see the lifeguards at the top. There's another lifeguard over here. And then in addition to that, they have a little area where basically the Pelican is going to drop a giant bucket of water on you. And right now it's a little bit warm, and so I would love that. That would be amazing. So one really great spot to get great views of the ship and the beaches is the Heads Up Bar. So it's a beach bar that overlooks both of the family beaches. So we are at Pelican Point. You got the Pelican Plunge behind me. You got Family Beach 1, and then Family Beach 2 is just behind me as well. But the bar is, of course, a full-service bar. So if you need a few minutes of adult time in the middle of the kids area, this would be a great place to do it. Beautiful beach breeze coming over you, and then, of course, the views. So no better place to sit back and have a drink and check out the beautiful Disney Dream. Absolutely stunning. Got another lifeguard out there doing some snorkeling here. All right, so also right in between the 2 family beaches, you're going to see the tube and float rental. Once again, if you have a cabana, those are complimentary. Otherwise, you will pay for those. They always have a ton. They generally don't sell out, but still, if you want one right when you get there, is the best time to go ahead and pick them up, because then you can use them for the entire trip. So right down this way is going to actually be the entrance to the second family beach here. It's actually the one that's closest to the Disney Dream. Okay, so once again, that absolutely magical, magnificent view of the Disney Dream is right in front of me. And then this is the other family beach here. Another massive beach. Same thing, if you want to get an umbrella, the earlier you go, the better chance you can get it. But right now too, it's starting to be early afternoon. A lot of people are heading back onto the ship, and so it's opening up again. Okay, so speaking of the rentals, everything on board Castaway Cay, from renting a cabana to getting one of the in-water loungers that you float on, or even one of the tube rentals, you can do ahead of time. And I always recommend that you pre-reserve it so that when you get off, you go to the separate line that says prepaid, go right in there. It's a lot quicker. So it's just gonna make your day more exciting because you're gonna have more of it. So all around me, I'm starting to see more and more signs of the hurricane coming through. So if you look kind of over here, this is a perfect example. A lot of the foliage got knocked off here. And then also a lot of the palm trees are struggling a little bit because they got really hammered as part of the hurricane. But you can see the structures are good. I've seen a few, parts of the roofs that were having problems, some signs that may or may not have been ripped off. But for the most part, it's up and running, fully functional. It's just going to look a little bit different for a while, just like all over the Bahamas, until all of this beautiful growth comes back. So the good news is a lot of this stuff will be back very soon. As soon as you start getting more and more rains and water coming through here that don't have 100+ mile-an-hour winds. But this is all tropical foliage that's used to that kind of weather. So I think it's still a perfect time to go to Castaway Cay, even though the hurricane just came through. All of the functions for food and drink and enjoyment are all there. It just might look a little bit different for a little while. So one other thing I wanted to point out right here is the Bahamian Retail. So this is not a shop that is run or owned by Disney. These are local artisans that are allowed to sell their goods here. And then, there's also some of the other stuff. But I always try to shop local whenever at all possible. And on Castaway Cay, this is one of the only places you can. So there's a big argument right now in the cruise industry about these private islands and the fact that when they stop there, you're not going into the small communities and the local areas that you would if you stopped in a regular city. So this is kind of a question you may want to think about yourself, is how do you contribute to the local economy and partner that with a vacation? But just, food for thought. This area here is for hair braiding. It's shut down now, open in the morning generally, but it's kind of that classic thing to do. I remember as a kid in the Caribbean doing it myself when I was about 9 years old on the Nordic Empress from Royal Caribbean. We all got our hair braided. We used that sun-in, a nice beach blonde thing like you did back in the 90s, and had a great time. But I think it's one of those parts of a vacation that, the pictures are fun, the experience is fun. You just got to make sure they don't do it a little too tight, because half the time the kids just want to rip it right out of their head immediately. So if you're looking for some family fun to do in the shade, that's actually the name of the place, is in the shade. But you've got Connect 4 here, which is always a blast. You've got ping pong, foosball down that way. And then if you'll come over this way, on the ground, you have checkers and chess set up. So you use the full-size pieces, pool tables, shuffleboard, and then of course basketball. And one great thing about the basketball hoops is it's got the net feeder. So you shoot and it comes right back down. So looks like fun to me. Let's go try it out. It's just what it is. But of course, you all know on these courts, you gotta perfect the bank shot, and I didn't. So, and there it goes. All right, so now we are at Cookies, which is one of the two main restaurants on Castaway Cay. This is the eating area here, the Gumbo Limbo. I like that. Once again, you'll see that it has the family-style picnic seating here. Lots of shade, which is great. They even put umbrellas up on the other side to get shade as well. Right here we have the ice cream station. Once again, always people at the ice cream station. It's kind of like recess, everybody's favorite, if you know what I mean. All right, and then once again, you have the full drink stations here. They're just cleaning up because lunch is just wrapping up. And then I'll just come on in here. So once again, same setup as Cookies 2. You've got the salads, coleslaw, potato salad, hot dogs, hamburgers, ribs, everything barbecue. And also this one has a pizza oven, which is A-okay with me. All right. So right outside of Cookies, you can find a quick snippet into Arendelle. And so I thought I'd just check in with my good buddy Olaf here and see how summer was treating him. Uh-oh, he's in the sun. Well, you know what? I forgot. He has his own snow flurry, so he can survive anywhere. Amazing. But if you do want frozen smoothies to cool down, because I'm hotter than Olaf is and I don't have a flurry above me, this is the perfect spot for that. And they even have Hawaiian shave ice, which I love. The other seating area for Cookies is called Dig In. So once again, a ton more family-style seating, picnic benches. All right, so we're gonna continue on back towards the family beach. And what do I come across again? Ice cream. And guess what? There's people at it. Imagine soft serve is a huge hit on any cruise, and on Disney, it's just, yeah, anyway, beyond. So we're gonna head on over back to the family beach, and what you're gonna see is the Conched Out Bar. Get it? Conch shell. Anyway, so here's the Conched Out Bar with, once again, great views of the ocean. Need a little adult respite with a good view. This is that perfect place for you. Then we're gonna continue on down over this way. The beach is over there to my right, and we're gonna head on to the family areas right now. Out here, I just wanted to point out, you have the swim vest. So just like on the ship, you got several different sizes of swim vests. To get out to Pelican Plunge, if the kiddos are less than 4 feet, they have to wear them. But just a great precaution out in the ocean. The ocean's a little bit different than the pool, especially if they're not super used to it. So we're gonna head on down the beach. All right, so the third eating area that's near Cookies is Pop's Props. So nautical theme, of course, but what's different about this is you'll see an area that's kind of closed off here, and that's because this is the area where the kiddos can eat. So just like on the ship, you have the full drop-off kids club zone. It's actually right behind me. We're walking over there right now. And then this area just to the left of me is where they serve the kids. So from 12 to 12:30 every day, they can go, they can eat just like they can in the kids club. So come over here, the first thing that I noticed in the kids club is you've got, hello, how's it going? You've got all the camp counselors just like you would on board. They've got soccer set up, they've got some water sports, all kinds of toys, but it just looks like a lot of fun for kiddos. And if as a parent you want that drop-off situation, some kids love it, some don't, but the ones that do love it, this is that perfect time where they can go have fun with their friends, they can enjoy the beach, they can get wet, they can eat with their friends, and then you can go off and be an adult and either head over to the adults only area or down onto one of the beach bars. So one other really cool part of the kids program here on Castaway Cay is the Monstro Point. So it's kind of like an archaeological dig site where they've got whale bones back there, everything to do with paleontology over here. So once again, just a really nice natural tie-in with science and fun. And once again, we're right next to Scuttle's area, which I think is ironic because everywhere up here they're trying to keep seagulls out, but you know, Scuttle's not really a seagull, he's our buddy, of course. But anyway, so one other really awesome kids-only area on Castaway Cay. So now I am at Mount Rustmore. Of course, these are 4 icons of Disney that would be on the Mount Rushmore of Disney. And the fun elevation is 15 feet, 11 3/4 inches. But what I really wanted to point out here is this is the first aid station if for whatever reason you need it. It's a beach. I've done it myself, stepped on a rock or coral or something like that, but that's where you would go if you need that. You've got some more retail over here. Once again, some unique items that you can't find elsewhere, and Disney does that intentionally. And then we're gonna head on down to the beach for a couple things. So the first one is Castaway Ray's Stingray Adventure. So this is an experience where you can swim with stingrays, feed them. I've done it before a few times. It's kind of they have that unique like slimy texture that kind of trips you out the first time, but it's a lot of fun, and getting to interact with nature is the best way to do it. But that's just ahead of me. You can see it's kind of roped off up there. And then this spot is also for a couple other things. So this is the main area where you're gonna rent the sea bikes, where you're gonna pedal, sea kayaks, anything that you're going out into the water in that is gonna propel you. This is the area for it. So if you look over here towards the Disney Dream, okay, you can see a lot of the equipment is out here already. We're kind of towards the end of the day, but there's Sea-Doos out there. And then of course there's life jackets for all of the equipment that you would want to use. And then if you head over a little bit further down this way, you will get to the Stingray Adventure. So it's really, really cool. I'm not sure if it's going to turn out on the camera, but if we walk pretty close over here to where they have the Stingray Adventure, you can actually see the stingrays swimming right down there. So even if you don't sign up for the adventure, it could be a really cool thing to bring the kiddos by just to check out what the stingrays look like, especially if you go back to the manta rays from Nemo or one of the other Disney experiences that you want to tie together. So down further is going to be the motorized boat rental area. And once again, you've got all the life vests, towels, and things like that you would need to borrow. All right, so as we head out to the rental area, I did want to point out that probably the most popular excursion at Castaway Cay is actually a teen excursion. And so if you're interested in doing that for your teen, you want to sign up right away, but it's kind of a 3-in-1. So you go out towards the adults only area, you're going to take a speedboat out, you're going to do snorkeling when you're out there, and then when you come back in, on top of it, you get to have the bike tour as well. So it's kind of a 3-in-1, very active for teenagers. Boat rental area, it's called Gills, Fins, and Boats. So anything that you want to do related to water sports, this is your place. Wanted to point this out again. You have prepaid tickets here. So there's 1, 2, 3 prepaids and then 1 walk-up. So always want to prepay those if you know for sure that you're going to use them. So it's after 2 o'clock, and I actually didn't get a chance to eat because we're filming today. But even though it's after 2, just on the end there, they have snacks. They had a ton of fruit options, and then they had some grab-and-go sandwiches here as well. Super easy and convenient. Grab, eat, head on back to the beach. But in this case, we're heading over to the adults only area to give you a tour. Follow along. All right, just so you can see a comparison, I wanted to point out that these areas are protected because there's structures on both sides, so you can see what the island looked like before the hurricane. Lots of really, really lush green. Of course, it's going to come back and it's going to grow back, but just from this side to the beach side, which took the brunt of it, you can see a total stark difference. So, all right, so we just got off the tram at Serenity Bay, which is the adults only area on Castaway Cay. So the first place that I'm going to take you is the food. So the barbecue area right here, once again, it's just for those 18 and older, no kids allowed. The only way that kids really get out here would be to ride the bikes, because you can rent them and ride them all over the entire island. But once you get to this area, they don't let the kiddos in. So as we go through here, once again, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. they have food here. This is actually the best food on Castaway Cay. Speaking of the best place to eat, let me take you over to the menu here. So you can see it's a smaller area, but what they have is great. It's all put away now because it's after 2 o'clock, but they have hot dogs, hamburgers, ribeye steaks. This is the only place on the island where you're gonna find the steak, chicken, mahi-mahi, pork ribs, and then of course all the desserts. So this is where it would be set up. They just finished tearing it down here, which is perfect so that we can show it to you. And then here is the one grill and the other grill as well. So what I love about eating on the island is the smells that kind of go with it. Sometimes when you're eating on a cruise ship, you lose that bit of that, the charcoal and the char grill that smells so good. So once again, all family style seating here with picnic benches, and then each and every one of them does have shade, which is something I appreciate because this area does not have a shade structure the way that the other ones do. Real quick, I forgot to mention soft serve ice cream there and everywhere. Okay, so as we head out, this may not pick up on the video at all, but above me right now, and then all the way around the eating area and all the eating areas, they have like a fish line kind of thing here, a string, so basically meant to keep the birds out, which is always great when they'll steal your food, so that's no fun. Where the tram came from is actually a actual runway where they can land planes on, lots of air type paraphernalia all around. This is the Windsock Hut, and this is where you're gonna rent things at the adults only beach. So bikes, floats, and tubes, you can get them all here. So speaking of rentals, one of the things that you can rent are these oversized wheelchairs that have the huge wheels so that they can go out onto the sand really, really easily. One thing that you can always do with hard travel is we work with several companies that deliver equipment. So if you need to rent any special needs equipment, they can deliver it right to the ship and have it picked up when you get back. But this is that perfect kind of way to combine the two so that you have a better beach experience, and nothing beats those giant wheels getting out there. Once again, I told you it's an aeronautical theme. If you turn around now and you look all the way down, you can see that we're on a runway right here. There's one plane up there, and then there's another plane up here. It's Disney. The Imagineers do an incredible job. It looks like a wreck that, somebody is stranded on a desert island. All right, so as we continue on, you're gonna have the Cabana guest check-in, just like you do in the family area. But of course, these cabanas are reserved only for adults. This walkway up here is actually to the massage cabanas. So the first couple are for massages. You would want to pre-schedule those early as you possibly can. Once again, anything that you can pre-schedule with Disney based on your status, I highly recommend it, because then you can lock in exactly what you want. Okay, and if you'll follow me along here, we're not going to head in, but because I have my 3-year-old with me, the cabana that we had was in the family zone. But I just wanted to point out that it's essentially the exact same setup here. Got to walk way up and then walk right out onto the beach. Normally we could walk all the way down and out, but a little further down the beach is actually one of the areas that was damaged by the hurricane, and Disney has not reopened it quite yet. So we're going to go down and check and see how close we can get so we can show you the footage. But once again, it's not open to the general public currently. If you look over to my left side here, you can see all of the cabanas. They're all brightly colored. They're really, really beautiful. Right, so this area here is the very end of the cabanas, and it's actually a part that's still closed down. So we're gonna head down onto the beach here real quick. But I just wanted to show here, some of these outer edges were the ones that got really affected by the hurricane. You can see there's a palm tree that got knocked down over there. These cabanas are not open and being rented currently. And then also you can see the foliage on the ground. But we're right on the beach. Another major thing that happened, and one of the reasons why these can't be used, is there is a sheer drop off right here because the hurricane took away a ton of sand. So this is something they're gonna have to rebuild before they can reopen all of this area. But once again, it's about a 5-6 foot drop straight down here. I'm not sure if you can see that, and don't get too close because it can be a little bit dangerous. But once again, for me, overall, the experience has not really been affected by the hurricane, but you can definitely see the areas that were and understand just the sheer force and the power of those winds. To take all that sand away is incredible because it's a straight drop down, and just a few weeks ago, it was, had a little step down, but it was a lot less of that. Okay, so now we're walking away from the cabanas and towards Serenity Bay. This is the entrance. I did want to point out all of these towels here. We're at the very end of the day. We're going to get back on the ship pretty soon. But one great thing that Disney does is they provide the towels here. You just turn them back in. You don't have to worry about that. It's a nice little touch instead of having to keep track of it throughout the whole day. Here they'll have the activities throughout the day scheduled and things along those lines. But right now, like I said, we're at the end of the day. So I'm going to walk you over this way. First, I just wanted to point out the beautiful water. It goes out really, really far before it gets deep, so you can walk quite a bit ways out right here until you get to kind of the sandbar area. Keep along with the aeronautical theming of it right here. You have a Conched Hut that is actually a bar. All the hard alcohols, beer, and they even have cold brewed Ely coffee on tap, which makes me really, really happy. So anyway, continue on this way. You can see this is a little dining area for the beach bar, and then we'll head on down. I mean, come on, like this, yeah. This is why you come to the Caribbean right here. Exactly this. Incredible view, great breeze, good drinks with some friends, adults only, relaxing area, all that together. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Very last, point out that they do have lifeguards on duty here as well, because it's a little bit windier. Waves are a little choppier on this side right now as well. All right, so as we get on the tram here, I did want to point out that this just goes back and forth between the main tram stop. It doesn't go all the way to the ship. So if you do want to go all the way back to the cruise ship, you're gonna have to change trams, which we will be doing. Here you go. So thank you so much for taking your time today to join me on this tour of Castaway Cay. Hope you had a magical day just like I did with my family. Just wanted to point out the Castaway Cay sign as we headed back, because this is the beautifully framed picture with the Disney dream in the background. So right now our magic on Castaway Cay ends, but our magic will continue on board. In fact, my daughter's got an appointment at the Bippity Boppity Boutique coming up here, and then we have dinner at Animator's Palette, which is always a great way to cap it off. And then for me personally, I get to go to Remy with my friends later on tonight while the kiddos in the kids club. So it's gonna be a pretty perfect night for me, and Disney magic is the reason why.